Okay, students, this is the next step in your book binding to make yourself a cover for your text block. This is called a text block once it's all sewn together, because that makes sense. This would be where all your text would be in a book. So these are some things you need. I have some clamps. I have some boards that you'll need to use while you glue it, and scissors, glue, and a brush. So the idea is that we're going to take the text block and these boards, and just line up the boards about, a quarter of an inch from the ends of your book. Clamp it together and on the ends, so you keep these away from the glue, and we can keep our binding nice and tight. You want to keep those pages, especially if you have any loose strings. You need to keep these pages tight when you glue it, so that later they don't come undone. If you didn't get your strings tight, the glue will help a little bit, and you'll want to do this in class and then let it dry overnight. But before you glue this, what we want to do is maybe take your scissors or a bone folder and just burnish these down. Now, once they're all burnished all the way to the end, we're going to cover this with glue. You want to get down in all the cracks and just brush it on, even get it in the string. Really, you can use your finger if you want. Really get it down inside everything so it's nice and thick. And then let that dry overnight. When that's dry, then you can cover your book. Now, you could begin your cover before you glue the spine like that. You could have before because if you need more time to work on something, while that's drying, then you could get some of this poster paper and make a cover. Now, there's something you should know about this paper. You'll notice that when I try to bend it this way, it's quite it's not as flexible as if I tried to bend it this way. You'll be able to feel the difference. There's actually a grain in paper going one direction, and it's usually easier to fold it when it's going that one direction. So when I get my paper, I put my text block on it, and I'm going to leave like a quarter of an inch around my text block to protect the text block, right, this cover. And then I can take this over the top and fold it. I don't want to fold against the grain, because then it will not fold. You'll notice that it makes kind of a horrible fold, and it gets really cracked. It does that. You don't want that on your sketchbook. So when you fold it, make sure you go with the grain, and that you actually fold it along the spine where there's that angle. So you want to fold it on the edges. Here's an example of it folded. Okay, there you go. It's not all cracked. If you looked at the inside, it's not cracked or damaged. Now, when the spine is all dry and you're ready to glue this in, and your cover is made, and you've trimmed it, and there's a nice edge around the outside, so you can see that I've got a quarter of an inch away from my text block all the way around. You could decorate this before you put it on, or you can decorate it after. I actually cut a hole in it and glued some leather on there, gave it my title. Please have a title on yours. I've got some stencils for you. The Kimball Atelier. Atelier means studio in French. And I'm not quite done. I can do some other things up here, but I like to include a magazine on the inside through that hole for the eye. And this is how you do the cover, or glue the cover. So you could get a paint cup like this and pour your glue in there. I'm not actually going to glue it in the demonstration, but I'll show you what to do. So get this all lined up. Open the cover so that it's not going to move. And the one thing I have to tell you right now is do not get glue. Once this glue is dried on the spine, don't get glue on the inside cover. We just want to have glue on this paper, and that's what's going to hold your book in. And then we'll flip it around and do the other side. You're going to want some scratch paper to put under the first leaf of your book. So put some scratch paper under there so that when you're brushing glue on, you don't get glue on your other paper. So you're actually going to glue right here to the edge, but not the spine. And you're going to completely cover this paper, brushing out to the edges all the way around until it's done. Pull this scratch paper out and carefully push this down in place. Once you've done that, you're not going to be able to peel that back up without damaging your paper. So you've got to be careful that your paper's in place. Flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Pull up the last leaf, put a new piece of scratch paper in there, cover this paper with glue all the way to the edges, all the way around, even on this edge, but not the spine. Then pull your scratch paper out and push it down gently so that it's in place. Then we're going to weigh this down with some books or put something heavy on it so that as that dries, it won't warp. And because you'll notice that in the inside, if it's not weighed down, this paper begins to buckle and crinkle and warp your cover. So you're going to let that dry for another day, and then it's ready to use. You can decorate it if you haven't already, and upload a picture of your cover, your final cover, to this lesson.